Hello there, and welcome to Ancient Theories channel. Hey, I want to talk about Sophocles today. I long to talk about James Leninger, the boy who remembers his past life. And disclaimer, I do not have any memories of my past life. My life doesn't have any memories of her past life, and my daughter doesn't have any memories of her past life. And I asked my daughter, and it said to me, no, she doesn't remember anything before being born. So she is now 5 years old and she doesn't remember. That's the disclaimer. So I am not supporting or denying this belief, and stick with me a little bit. So in the story of James Leninger, he was born around 2000 year 2000 in May, maybe 98. So not long ago. It's recent, right? For all their people, for all their folk, will tell you year 98, 99, early 2000s. It's recent times, and this boy told everybody that he was remembering some plane craft, airplane craft, starting with 2 years of his life in this world. And that was pretty amazing for everybody, because children then do tell us parents a lot of stuff, and we cannot trust them with our best intentions, but we cannot trust them in every matter. But this boy not only told about some plane crashes, draw plane crashes, but even said he was another dreadnought in his previous life, and knew some specific details about aircrafts from Second World War era. But you can also say it happens maybe he watched some documentary or video of those events and thought it was his memories. It's all possible. But what's next is that he knows some historical details about aircrafts, and he told everybody he was on a ship called Natoma, but it's interpretation of his parents. He also told that he had a friend, spoke of a friend named Jack Larson, which again maybe is maybe interpretation of his parents, because when you are talking about 3-year-old child, then those words are not very low articulated. But maybe he was talking about Natoma Bay aircraft carrier. And he described being shot down in his plane by Japanese forces, which happens to be true. There was a kind at battle with USS Natoma Bay involved, and there was a pilot James, who was shot in this battle during his service in an aircraft in Iwo Jima, which is aligned pretty convenient to his story. He also recognized some of the terms during that rendezvous, like Bob Greenwald, by his voice. Well, I mean, he knew him, but Bob Greenwald never or met this boy James Leninger before. And what's more interesting, but he also knew a lot about their family of that island, This pilot who died doing this war was named James McQueedy Houston Jr. And if you're looking for this, let's say, I'm not going to tell this reincarnation, but a proof that human can transcend although death and become a next person, then I suggest not build on this story, because everything in this story is very vague. And when some mother tells me that her child has this particular talent in singing or remembering past life, or maybe he will be next Ronaldinho, or he will be next Einstein. Who knows? Maybe she's not lying, but trying to make me believe, and in the same way, making her believe that this child, her child, has a lot of potential. So maybe we should also focus on other stories with children remembering past lives, but without this scent of adventure, of military pilots who sacrificed himself to defend his country. And you know this. And please forgive me because I'll mispronounce every name so long. So in the 1957, there was a case. There was a body in Turkey, born in Adana province, who was called Ismail Altincilic. And this child, about 18 months in his earlier life, he starts to speak, and all he was talking about was that he was not Ismail, he was Abid. He told everybody he was Abid, which was another man. And the thing is, he told everybody he was not only Abid, because, maybe he doesn't like his name, but he told everybody he was Ismail, but Abid, and not Altincilic, but Suzulgus. And she told everybody he had two wives, and their names was Hatisha and Sahida, it's different pronunciation, but he told everybody he had also children, Bulsara, Zaki, and Hikmet. He then described that he was a farmer, and he described his farm. He even told he has cows, and one of them was named Susan, two horses, a fodder barrel, bed in the stable, and food trees. And he was recalling some social habits, drinking raki with friends with names Abud Relak and Mahmud Altinkilic. See, Altinkilic, like his name, but it was Altinkilic, which was written with different letters. And private people such as women of the drinking parties confirmed by Mahmoud's reaction. Yeah, women of drinking parties with friends. And those friends was, well, not confirming this, but their reaction was priceless, according to the people who asked them on those claims. So we are those faces are pretty funny, but it doesn't stop here. Look, he was even detailing his murder. He was killed by Ramazan, it is named. It was his worker of his farm who lured him to the stable, calling him because some oak story, and he killed him with a hammer-shaped iron bar in the head, and mentioned that his wife Stahida was also killed but lied. And if I am correct, he also told about 2 other people who was also killed that night. And the thing is that this man, Abid Sulumos, was a real person who lived near Ismail Altincilic, sorry, and this Abid Sulumos was born in 1912 and was vegetable farmer, which isn't the same thing children are talking about, because it's not fun to be maybe moderately wealthy, but vegetable farmer, instead of being pilot, fighter, and die in a battle near some island on career with duty and country in his heart. No, it was just, I was just a farmer. I was just farming my veggies, and this guy killed me and my wife, okay? And that's the guy who died in 1957, the same year the Ismail Altincilic was born, but it was 8 or 9 month span between this death and born. And he even was asked to meet the family of Abid Sulumos, the relatives who were few alive, and he recognized them. He knew a lot about their behaviors. He knew their names, and he even was like, okay, I know a lot with my friends. We drink some raki, and we had this wine night with some women involved. Okay, and yeah, I know they have wives. I had wives, but who cares now? I'm a child now, so nobody will be blaming me, right? Yeah, you cannot just blame 3 or 4-year-old child that he was cheating his 2 wives, because he had 2 wives, with, yeah, on the one's parties, because it's just a child now. Okay, that's really, really funny, but is it true? Okay, the reports of this incident was actually the same as the body said. Maybe even he pulled more than the police already knew. And the funny thing is that the story goes on, and there was this girl born a few months later. She was 1 year younger than him, and he claimed that his wife was also killed the same night, and this girl, Severia Bayoui, born in 1958, claimed to be Sahira, his wife in previous life, and he told that the killer was Ramazan when he was 2 and 3 year old. So it was 1959, 1960, when she was telling the same, Ramazan killed me, when she was 1 year old, one of was in 1959 and 1960. So those 2 children told their new parents the same story at the same time, in different places, but in the same province in Abada. And both of them told we were alive previously, and we were killed by this man Ramazan. And when the boy was told by the police that the Ramazan was hanged and he's dead, the boy was cheerful. He was, yay, hooray, that's great. Let's party now, okay? We know, Abid, you like to party with Raki, and you like to party hard, okay? But you are now 4-year-old, so yeah, easy now. But until the age of Mayim, he wore a towel over his shoulder like Abid, and secretly drank Raki as a child. And he insisted being called Abid at school, still around 6 and 7 years old. So if you are trying to, if you are, yeah, and this girl also, she also knew about this story. She was then involved in this. He remembered her family. He knew a lot about those events. Even like she was upset that Abik, her husband, didn't prevent her death. Then the boy told her that, hey, I wasn't alive. He killed me also. So sorry, but no sorry. And the story ends when the children are about 7, 8 years old, and they are forgetting their past lives. And yeah, so the case is pretty amazing, and I'm trying to find it amusing, but is it true? I don't know. I really don't know. But it's not like I don't know. I then going to try to find a hole in it. I'm not trying to find a hole in it because there is no hole to be found. Those people are dead now. I cannot verify this. I am not trying to verify this. And if everybody knew this, everybody believed in it, then I will find nothing. That's the point. That's just a story. But if I knew that there is a lot of those more than 1,000, okay? And those stories are pretty amazing. But listen, there is the funny thing. I don't think that those children are lying. I think those children are truly believing that they are living their life. But I am not sure if they are right. You see? That's because if I am sitting here and doing this recording, I am not sure if this all the world behind this glass here is real or not. You see? I am just believing that my senses are telling the truth. And those children believed that these minorities were there. They told, okay, I must be this man, I must be this woman who is dead now. Why? Because I have those memories in me. But do you? Okay, maybe you have some memories in you of this person. So are you this person? Am I a person because I have certain memories of his or her life? I don't know. And we are talking about what is a person? What is you? And I am not going to investigate this case of those Turkish children because I cannot say certainly what is me. are those memories? Hey, but I don't remember my childhood. I vaguely remember my primary school, okay? I can recognize my photos. I can recognize some of my friends from childhood, but I don't remember much, okay? And I also had pleasure, it was not pleasure, but a pleasure, to meet some really old family members of mine, over 8 years old, over 100 years old, one person. And all those persons, all those people, they had those moments of life when they remember something from their childhood, from their life. But for the most of their time, they lost it already. They remembered their life from the last 40, 60 years, but the early years of their life are already gone from their memories. One of those persons, one of those people, had even gone wild in the last 2 years of her life, and was mixing current events, current memories, with distant memories, which was illness by Dr. Spot. The thing was, I was introducing myself to her 6 times in one day. She was referring to my father as strange person, second guest in hotel. She was like, Saber, do you know when the supper will be? Okay, she lost it, okay? But the funny thing was, there was some parts of the day, some hours of the day, when she could remember, when she had those memories vividly behind her eyes. And she knew who she was, who Ree was, and she even asked questions about current relatives and their ongoing problems in their lives, which were current to the delayed. She is dead now, of course, for a few years. But this story would be also interesting when we compare this with this childhood, those children with their lulling, vague memories of past lives. I think that's something interesting about our selves. And I am not telling you that this story of Turkish children and others are true. And I am very skeptical here about those giant story. But people tend to forget a lot. And there are times when we can remember some things. So maybe this is the case for some of us, that we can sometimes remember something we shouldn't. Or maybe we just don't want to remember some things from our past lives. I don't know. But I don't remember anything from my past lives. I don't even think I had a past life. But who knows? Maybe we all had. Till we meet again.